The night my boyfriend knelt down to propose. I accidentally overheard his conversation with his closest friend. I'm getting married soon. Do you regret it? Her eyes turned red as she threw herself at him and pressed her lips to his. I do. In that instant, I caught the dazed look in his eyes. Then confusion, and finally a glimmer of triumph. Like a man reclaiming something he thought he had lost forever. Just as he was about to reach out and hold her, his gaze suddenly collided with mine from the shadow of the corner. I didn't look away. I stepped forward and slapped him hard across the face. His friend rushed in, trying to stop me. I raised my hand, ready to strike her too. But he blocked me just in time. Eyes bloodshot, pleading, hit me if you want. Just don't touch her. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Hebe Audio for more great stories every day. In our 5th year together, Trin Triet planned a grand proposal for me. As he slipped the ring onto my finger, I smiled and nodded my yes. While Jeong Han, my best friend, stood there with reddened eyes and tears threatening to fall. Her gaze brushed past me and stopped at Trin Triet with a smile more painful than crying. Sam-do, I envy you. I envy you so much it hurts. I patted her shoulder, laughing lightly. I envy you too. You change boyfriends like changing clothes. While poor me has only loved one man and now I'm about to marry him. But Trin Triet suddenly fell silent. His eyes fixed on Jeong Han. She went on, Trin Triet's been with you for 5 years, if only that day. Before she could finish, Trin Triet quickly grabbed 2 bottles of wine from the table and cut her off. Come on, let's toast to us. Jeong Han took the bottle, laughing and crying at once. Sam-do, tell me, how can some people forget someone so easily? I thought she was talking about her exes and chuckled to comfort her. Because you haven't met the right person yet. She downed glass after glass. Voice heavy, shaking her head. I have. I just let him go. She whispered, then staggered off toward the bathroom. I was about to follow when Trin Triet, silent all this time, spoke up. She seems drunk. Let me go check on her. I froze for a moment. Then nodded. When the two of them still hadn't come back after a long while. A flicker of worry rose in me. The bathroom was empty, but next to it was a stairway leading up to the small rooftop. I was about to turn back when I caught the soft sound of Jeong Han's sobbing. Instinct pushed me up the steps. Looking up, I saw them standing close together. His hand rested on her hair, both a caress and a comfort. Isn't this what you wanted? His voice was slow, his eyes cold. Back then you rejected me. You said Sam-do liked me. Just as you wished. I stayed with her, and now we're about to marry. Do you regret it? Yes. That single word emptied my mind. My legs turned to lead. Jeong Han's eyes were wet and red as she looked up at him. Choking. Trin Triet, you bastard. You chose today to propose just to spite me. Didn't you? You still remember today's the day I turned you down. He said nothing. She gathered what courage she had left. Rose on her toes and kissed him. But I regret it now. Her tears fell as her fists thumped weakly against his chest. In Trin Triet's eyes flashed surprise. Then confusion. Then a glint of joy, like someone who's just avenged himself. Like a man reclaiming what he once lost. Something sharp pounded inside my chest, my nose stung. Tears spilling over. Today was supposed to be the day he told me he wanted a life with me. I thought it was romance. I didn't know it was the day he chose to punish her. How could he stab me right on the happiest day of my life? In front of me were the 2 people I trusted, my boyfriend of 5 years. My best friend of 8, and they were betraying me together. When he moved to hold her, his eyes suddenly caught mine in the shadows. Jeong Han turned too, her face streaked with tears. Trin Triet looked panicked. Panicked? He should have been happy. His true love had finally answered him. Then what was I? For 5 years, had I been just a witness to their story? If they'd never forgotten each other, why drag me into this mess? The pain boiled into anger. I didn't turn and walk away. Didn't scream or demand answers. I stepped forward and slapped him hard. His face snapped to the side. I raised my hand again, but Jeong Han reflexively tried to stop me. I swung toward her, but before the blow could land, Trin Triet's hand clamped tight around my wrist. He stood shielding her, head bowed, his voice low. Hit me if you want. Just don't touch her. In the haze, memories rushed back. That night after our high school graduation party, I had mustered all my courage to confess to him. He'd had a little to drink. Glanced at me lazily. You and Jeong Han are best friends. Right? Yes. Damn do. You like me? My teenage heart laid bare. My face burned as my hands twisted together. He said, then let's be together. What? He didn't notice my shock. Just stood and stepped closer. Can you walk me home? I learned later he'd been rejected by Jeong Han that very day. And because I was her friend, he chose me. Later we both went to the same university, while Jeong Han studied at a nearby college. At the start of our relationship he'd casually asked if any friends were coming along. So I invited her. He was only using me as an excuse to see her. We spent our college years watching movies, going to concerts, celebrating birthdays, living out our youth. Friends all praised our love. I'd laugh and sling my arm around Jeong Han's neck, teasing that she was my real husband and Trin Triet could stand aside. In my heart she always came first. Yet now that same friend coveted my boyfriend just as I was about to marry him, and he liked her too. How absurd. I hurled the ring at him with all my strength, grabbed his collar and punched him hard. Why are you doing this to me? What am I to you? My tears streamed down, my voice raw. How could they pine for each other yet play at friendship with me for 5 years? Jeong Han sobbed, grabbing my arm. I'm sorry. Damn do. Back then I turned him down. But you two aren't married yet. I don't want to miss him again. Can you let me have him? I stared at her. Then, when Trin Triet wasn't watching, slapped her hard. Have you two no shame? Jeong Han clutched her cheek, crying. I love him too. Is it a crime to love someone? I screamed. It's not a crime, but you're both disgusting. Trin Triet bent to pick up the ring, stepped forward to pull me close. Damn do. Calm down. I shook his hand off, staring at him word by word. Trin Triet, we're over. I turned to leave but my legs faltered, and he caught me around the waist. It's not over. Listen to me. I hit at him, kicked wildly. Let go of me. Trin Triet, you bastard. He still held on, while Jeong Han stood there, tears streaming, calling his name. He acted as if he didn't hear her, hoisting me and shoving me into the car. Get out. Let me go. He locked the door and, without waiting for me to speak, drove off. By the time we got home my body felt like lead. As soon as we stepped inside, I went to the bedroom to pack. Trin Triet blocked me. I can explain. I shook off his hand. Cold. Don't touch me. You make me feel filthy. He pressed on. I admit at first my reasons weren't pure. In high school I liked Jeong Han. It's true I picked you despite her. But then I fell in love with you. Damn do. I love you now. So what? Because you love me I should be grateful? He licked his lips, anxious. I didn't mean it like that. Just now I lost my head. Seeing her cry, I felt a flash of satisfaction and said those things. I forced my voice steady. So next time she's upset, will you comfort her straight into bed? He frowned. You don't need to be so harsh. When I said nothing, he added, I won't contact her again. Oh, split personality now? Tender 1 minute, ruthless the next. Thunder rolled outside. How could he say those words so shamelessly? What did he take me for? A convenience to be reached for when he wanted and thrown aside when he was done. After everything, after betraying me with my own best friend, was I supposed to pretend nothing had happened and forgive him? A flash of lightning lit the window and rain crashed down in sheets. I stared out at it, my voice steady. Trin Triet, you've hurt me. I was wrong, he repeated like a machine. My eyes went to the photo of us hanging on the bedroom wall. And the pain cut like knives. My chest tightened until I could neither breathe out nor swallow air in. It was unbearable. I grabbed the remote from the nightstand and hurled it at the frame. With a crash the glass shattered and the photo fell. Snatching up the scissors, I sliced the picture to pieces. Trin Triet lunged and wrapped his arms around me. His voice hoarse, half comfort, half promise. Damn do. I love you. Only you. I shoved him away, my hands at his throat, hating that I didn't have the strength to crush him right there. I sobbed until I couldn't breathe, tears dripping onto his face. He didn't fight back, only watched me in silence, his face darkening as the blood pooled under his skin. I released him, wiped my tears, drew a deep breath and said flatly, you hurt me. I've just hurt you. We're even. Panic flickered in his eyes. Don't, he whispered, reaching for my hand, fumbling to slip the ring back on. I wanted to cry but couldn't. wanted to push him off but had no strength left. I only watched as his fingers trembled, sliding the ring onto mine. My voice came out so faint it was almost inaudible. Trin Triet, I don't want to see you again. You make me sick. And right then Jeong Han appeared. I'd forgotten. She had her fingerprint saved on my lock. How ridiculous. When I pressed her to add it, I never imagined she'd use it to steal my boyfriend. She stood in the doorway in the same thin slip dress as earlier. Soaked through, hair plastered to her face. Lips pale, curves faintly visible. Her voice shook. Damn do. Don't blame him. It's me. I'm the shameless one. The despicable one. I looked at her. Calm. Jeong Han. For a man you really want to do this? Her eyes darted away. After long hesitation she whispered. I don't want to miss him. He and I have been together 5 years too. Good. Very good. My laugh was cold. So friendship could never compete with love. All these years I'd watched her go through boyfriends like clothes and thought she just hadn't met the right one. I never guessed that in the 5 years I'd been with Trin Triet, she'd never stop regretting rejecting him. Never stop letting him come to me. Without the two of them I would have suffered a little heartbreak. Gone to university. Moved on. Found someone who truly liked me. A love that wasn't revenge. Wasn't entanglement. Even if they'd ended up together later, I wouldn't have minded. It wouldn't have been like today. Being stabbed straight through the heart by the two people who mattered most. I clenched my fists. My voice low but steady. Then I wish you two a long life together. May you always carry the stain of betrayal. Live in the shadows and be despised by everyone. At some point tears had welled in Trin Triet's eyes. He reached for me and I slapped him. The edge of the ring cut a line of blood from the corner of his eye to his chin. Jeong Han screamed, rushing to dab at it with tissues. I grabbed my suitcase and made for the door. But his voice called after me. Damn do. Besides me, do you even have a home to go back to? My steps faltered. Of course he knew where to strike deepest. I'd never imagined I'd say such bitter words. Never imagined he'd salt my rawest wound. In the past, after every fight, I could run to Jeong Han's place. Curl up under her blanket. Relive our high school days. Back then life was good. I had love. I had friendship. Now the two people I loved most were the ones who'd hurt me most. I didn't stop. I hurled the ring aside. Dragged my suitcase out. The door closed. They didn't follow. I heard Jeong Han's voice break. Trin Triet, you're bleeding. Let me stop it for you. I didn't look back. Near midnight I stood at my father's door, unsure if I should knock. My mother had died when I was in middle school. After I entered university, my father gently asked if it would be all right for him to find someone. Only then did I understand how hard it had been for him to raise me alone. How human his need for companionship was. How he couldn't stay widowed forever. The summer after my first year, he brought a woman home. She was kind, always smiling. While she was in the bathroom, he asked me in a whisper if it was okay. If not, he wouldn't see her again. I saw the lines etched at the corners of his eyes and couldn't be cruel. Only smiled and nodded. From then on Aunt Lee moved in. The house became neat, with fresh flowers and warm meals. And my father grew happier. But from that moment I began to feel like an extra. I knew I couldn't be selfish but still struggled to accept a stranger in our lives. Even though I studied locally, I only went home on winter and summer breaks. When Trin Triet learned about this, he rented a place off campus from our third year so I'd have somewhere to go. His family had money, and later he bought it outright. That day he laid the deed in front of me and held me close, whispering sweetly, "Damn do, I'm here, I'll give you a home. Even if we fight, I'll be the one to leave. You'll always stay." I'd been so moved, but as I peeled back layer after layer of my defenses to show him my softest parts, I never imagined I was handing him the knife he would use to wound me. One stab after another straight to my heart, leaving me bleeding out, leaning against the door now, hugging my knees. I buried my head, as if on cue. The door opened. My father stood there in pajamas. "Do, what's wrong?" Aunt Lee came out too. The living room light glowed warm. Seeing the suitcase beside me, my father asked, "A fight?" I shook my head then nodded. "It's over. Really over." He didn't ask why, only said, "Are you hungry? Want something to eat?" and gave Aunt Lee a look. She paused, then smiled. "It's late. You must be starving. I'll make you an egg soup." I stayed silent. She went to the kitchen. My father sat down beside me, this quiet man of my memories, and patted my shoulder. Do, you still have your father. You still have a home. The tears that had stopped started flowing again. I choked out the story of the night. I expected him to say what other parents might, that fights happen. Calm down. It will pass. Instead his eyes reddened. It's my fault I didn't help you see him for who he was. Do. I'll always stand by you. I slept fitfully that night. In my dreams I kept drifting between memories of Trintriet. How the first time I brought him home he was so nervous he couldn't sleep. And my father lay awake too. The next morning he showed up with armfuls of gifts. Slipped into the kitchen to help my dad and Aunt Lee cook. Scrubbed the place until it gleamed. After a few drinks with my father he thumped his chest and promised. Don't worry, sir. I'll treat Tham well for the rest of my life. For years he really was good to me. And he did keep that promise of a home, a rich boy who washed his hands to make soup. Made breakfast and called me to wake. Dropped me at work and picked me up at night. Sometimes we'd eat out. Sometimes we'd wander markets and supermarkets. Lug home bags of food and chatter in the kitchen. Sometimes I'd watch his back as he cooked and think that if I could hold this hand and grow old slowly, that would be something beautiful. One night when I couldn't sleep he pulled me close in his sleep. Kissed my cheek and mumbled, "Wife, hold me." Back then he cradled me like a treasure. But the dream shifted to Jianghan, in high school. When I was painfully self-conscious about my situation, she brought me boiled eggs every day. Took me home for weekend dinners where her mother cooked a spread. We lay on her bed with music and movies. Cicadas buzzing outside, our laughter inside. We traded diaries. Spent every weekend together. Hung a friendship lock at a temple and swore we'd last. At the end of the dream they were in each other's arms. Telling me coldly I was the extra. I jolted awake, my back soaked with sweat. It was near noon when I finally left my room. My father said Trintriet had been sitting outside our door since early morning. Dark circles under his eyes. Gaunt. Who knew if he'd been there all night or just since dawn? Aunt Lee set down fragrant rib soup and smiled. Do, you're up. Come eat. My father offered. After lunch. Want to go fishing with me this weekend? Okay. But when we opened the door, there he was. Still there and dazed. Hearing us. He sprang to his feet. A bandage on his brow. So he'd let Jianghan tend last night's cut. Didn't we tell you to get lost? What are you doing here? My father barked, shielding me. Sir, he glanced at me. I gave him a face of ice. I came to apologize. His voice was hoarse. We don't need your apology. If you want her to have peace, leave, my father said, hot-tempered as he is. Not swearing was already restraint. Trintriet looked from him to me. Then carefully produced last night's velvet ring box. Sir, I proposed last night. She said yes. Many people saw it. I only made her angry. Please forgive me. His eyes reddened again. This is a matter of principle. My father said. My girl is kind but she has limits. A man with one foot on two boats isn't fit to come through our door. Grimacing, Triet opened his phone, flipping through messages. In 5 years with her, I treated Jianghan as a friend. Never once crossed a line. I looked him straight in the eye. But you deceived my heart. Didn't you? Swear it. Were you with me from the start because you truly loved me? Or to punish someone else? He fell silent a long time before stammering. But nothing happened. True, nothing happened. So why can't I let go? Because in every memory between us, her shadow is there. Warmth that once felt like sunlight has sharpened into knives. The vow that the three of us would grow old together, a joke. If nothing happened, does that mean it didn't exist? They betrayed me. Why should I forgive? I tugged my father's sleeve and shook my head. Let's go. On the way to fish. Aunt Lee murmured that at dawn my father had stormed out with a broom to drive him off. Then slowed, eyes wet, and told him not to look for me again. After closing the door he sat in silence for a long time. Blaming himself for not protecting me. Afraid I'd spiral, asking her to keep smiling so I'd feel less alone. He feels he failed your mother. Letting you be wronged, she said. I burst into tears in her arms. My father kept the banter lively the whole time so I wouldn't sink. And I did my best to play along. On the way back a friend sent 2 screenshots. A status from Triet in front of my building reading, "In this life I only love one person," and one from Jianghan at his place. The corner of his bandage visible. At that angle I'd know him even as Ash. Posted at daybreak. Can we stop missing each other? My friend wrote, I'm not hallucinating. Right? What is wrong with the three of you? I answered, we broke up. Ex-boyfriend and ex-best friend are together. She cursed them and reminded me last night was a proposal. Then she cheered me on. Baby doo-doo. The good is ahead. She was right. You let go of wrong to find right. This won't kill me. It'll make me stronger. I posted, back to single life. Underneath were 9 proposal videos from friends. Damn. Never eaten this much dog food in my life. Dude, you be happy. So moving. 5 years in love. Congrats, Mr. Trin. Who says love isn't real? Who says love isn't real? Let this video slap you in the face. Looking now, it was all bitterly ironic. I opened one at random. In it, his eyes weren't on me at all. They were locked, deeply, on the woman beside me. Last night, while he let me and Jeong Han chat, what was he feeling in the middle, imagining a future with me? Or savoring revenge fulfilled? It doesn't matter anymore. I don't need either of them. Friends flooded my inbox because of the grand gesture. Everyone thought I was joking. But this was real. I replied to each one, without softening. Why should I be magnanimous when I did nothing wrong? That night, Jeong Han still messaged, Doo-doo. Can you bless us? I couldn't fathom it. She had everything. Why come to me? Just to make sure I had none. The truth I didn't want to face rose up. Maybe she never saw me as a friend. If she had, how could she do something so shameless? I swallowed my fury and typed, bless you? Don't you too feel filthy and vile? She replied at once, but he liked me first. He confessed to me, when you two had just met. He told me if I agreed he'd be with me immediately. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. Oh, so I should thank you? She added, he stayed with you to get back at me. If he breaks up with you, he won't see me anymore. Disgusting. Heartless. Another second looking at you two makes me sick. I won't, bless you. I want you to carry guilt and condemnation. Never see the light. Then I blocked her. For a man, she could toss aside friendship and conscience. Finally I was clear. To her I'd never been a friend, just a tiny pawn to set off her brilliance. A bit of trash to toss away. All this time I'd handed over my whole heart. All they saw was someone easy to fool. How stupid I'd been. I hadn't even sensed the filth between them. They want to be together? I will make sure they don't get there happily ever after. The story spread through our circle fast. I spoke plainly because I was the one hurt. And mutual friends cut ties with them one by one. Most people couldn't stomach it. Said it was the first time they'd seen 3 views shattered so blatantly. Someone posted an anonymous account on a platform and within a day it had tens of thousands of likes and thousands of furious comments. Somehow Trin Triet saw it. And one evening after work he cornered me. Eyes full of pain. Do you hate me that much? Hate? You don't deserve even that. He tried again. There's nothing between me and her. Why won't you believe me? Haven't I treated you well these 5 years? Didn't you feel it? Yes. He treated me well. But love can't be patched by being a little better. A wound once made scabs over and then, out of nowhere, stings like before. It turns into a blade and each future argument uses it to cut deeper. When you lied to me, did you think I'd never find out? Did you not consider the consequences? One lie breeds 1,000 more. He said nothing, so I answered for him, because from the start you knew we had no future. I ripped open what he wouldn't face. You used me like a pawn and tossed me aside. And only by accident did you actually fall for me. He nodded, owning that he'd been a bastard. Pleading, but I don't want to break up, I want to marry you. Build a family. I cut him off. You're a bastard. You're trash. Fine. Hit me. Curse me. Just don't leave. I'm not brain dead. No one chooses garbage. Save that for Jeong Han. There is no Jeong Han. He moved as if to grab me. But my father came back with groceries and threw him out. After that, he stood outside my office every day and trailed me home at night. Keeping a not too close, not too far distance because he knew I didn't want to talk, annoying beyond words. I told my father, who, furious, filed a police report. When the paperwork was done he looked at Triet's hollow face and said, "Don't come looking for my daughter again." Triet lifted his head, eyes red, glancing at me past my father. I said nothing and walked away with Dad. That night, from a new number, Jiang Han sent me a dim KTV photo of their hands entwined with a spiteful line, "Doo-doo. Calling the police. Are you sick?" It was pathetic more than anything. Seeing someone I once called a friend sink so low. I went to block her and she sent another, "So heartless? If you won't be with us, we'll warm each other." I blocked her. Later friends said she'd gone to his place and stayed till morning. Someone heard vicious arguing. On her feed she posted a crying flower. "Even through thorns I'll choose to hold you again." She thinks words are a game. I didn't care. A friend asked if I wanted to teach them a lesson, and I shook my head. Entanglement only drags you deeper and keeps a thread tied to them. Sometimes silence is the sharpest cut. For a while it was peaceful. Then our home started getting flooded with deliveries. Even baby things. I stared at my father, shaking, and he waved his hands in alarm. I pulled out a baby bottle. Yesterday it was clothes. Today a bottle. What next? And he grumbled as he took inventory. There's even a walker. Toys. Where do we put this? Too tall. Aunt Lee frowned. Was that boy behind this? The room went still. Since the police report, Triet hadn't shown up, but every week he sent flowers to my office and ordered food. I shared the food with colleagues. Tossed the flowers. Refused any contact at all. Half a year passed. He still hadn't let go. And now he was sending strange things to our house. I slid open a box. A complete Lego build with a handwritten letter. Doo-doo. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm living badly. Every time I close my eyes I see you. When you hugged me and said you'd want 2 kids someday. I said whatever you want, but I didn't want you to hurt. You said pain is also an experience. That you want to taste life's stages and leave proof you were here. You said if we grew old together then, later, we'd have 1,000 memories to summon the feeling of youth. How did I lose you? With no one to share those things. What's the point of living? The lies were my fault. Please don't stay silent. Those 5 years were so happy. Weren't you happy too? I promised you a family. And I'll keep it. You love kids. I've bought everything already. Let's forget the past and start over. My father saw me go quiet and patted my shoulder. I'll respect your decision. I folded the letter and tore it up. You know me. I don't go back. What's broken stays broken. Friends sometimes reported back. She clung to him every day. Messed up at work and got fired. He worked at his family's firm so his job stood. But his mind was a mess. In the end they didn't end up together. When asked if I'd forgive, I shook my head. My heart isn't strong enough to carry what they did. I used to be selfish, thinking my father sharing his life meant abandoning me. Later I thought having a boyfriend and a best friend was enough. In the last 6 months I came to love bickering with my dad over small things. Shopping and cooking with Aunt Lee, simple and real. I once loved Triet with everything. Once put sisterhood above all. Now they feel a world away. Sometimes I wonder, if I hadn't confessed back then, or hadn't said yes to him, would things be different? But life has no if. Near Lunar New Year, she asked to see me. I said no. She kept pushing through others until I agreed to meet at the cafe we used to love. After so long it was awkward. She started with an apology. And I sat cold. What good is sorry now? I can't go back to it's fine. She said she was foolish to love someone she shouldn't, if she'd treated me as a friend. She should have killed it at the start and never let me know. Between us she chose him and dropped me. I'm the villain, right? You're the one at peace now. Only he and I will live in pain. I frowned. Lack confidence? If you want him, he'll be with you. Are you satisfied now? She bowed her head and cried. I was muddled. It's my fault. Will you never forgive me? It's true I sometimes miss our happy moments. I'd once told her she'd be my bridesmaid. And she'd said yes. I never understood how, after all those boyfriends, she still circled back to Triet. Maybe it was the lure of what she couldn't have. Maybe I was slow, thinking having love and friendship side by side was the peak. But between the rejected and the admirer, that kind of murky tug of war can never be clean enough to stay friends. She ruined my proposal. No. They ruined my happiness. Even if I don't forgive, I'm grateful they woke me up in time to see the road ahead. As I stood, she called out that her family had introduced her to someone and she'd be marrying soon. She asked me to go see him because he'd been unwell for half a year. I picked up my bag. No, I don't entangle myself with the past. She blinked back tears. Even if you don't believe me, I still hope you're happy. Don't bother, I just hope I never see either of you again. On New Year's Eve, he showed up again, waiting under my building since dawn. In past years I'd bring him home for the last dinner of the year. Whether out of superstition or pity, my father let him stay. He hovered in the doorway, both cautious and relieved. After a few rounds of wine, Dad asked, "Do you still look for my daughter often?" He jerked, set down his chopsticks, and sat up straight. "And not that often, just enough to keep existing." My father put down his cup and his tone hardened. "You broke up, don't bother her. Don't poison her life. The girl still has to marry." Words tossed off lightly, but he heard the weight, his eyes filled. "Sir, sometimes I just miss her too much." My father slammed the table. "And missing her means chasing her down? What did you promise the first time you came here? To treat her well for life. To never betray her, and then you tangled with her best friend?" "We didn't, then why hurt her? I raised her alone, and even I can't bear to speak harshly, and you did worse. Why should she forgive you? Answer me." He smashed the glass. "After tonight, don't come back, don't bother me, and don't harass my daughter." Triette stammered, but my father waved him off. "Go, this is the last time I see you." He glanced at me. I lowered my head. Silent. Aunt Lee opened the door. All polite finality. He wiped his eyes. "Don't be angry, sir. I'll go. Happy New Year." When he left, my father wrapped me in a hug. "Good girl. New Year, let's cut the past clean." My eyes burned and I nodded. After the holiday I started driving again. On free days I took Dad and Aunt Lee out. And Dad suddenly splurged on a long lens camera and fiddled with it daily. I thought he'd be shooting flowers. But every outing he posted, me. A daughter at home, a jewel of a girl, cheesy, she made me jog today. Am I fat? You're not fat? Dad, I just want you healthy. Family picnic. My girl's cooking keeps improving. I only plated fruit. She says I shoot her badly. But I think it's fine. It would be if you didn't make me look 4 feet tall. Aunt Lee likes to say he's been happier since I moved back. One day I asked why he'd agreed to me living with Triette back then. He took my hand. "More than having you near me. I wanted you happy." I hugged him, eyes wet. "With you too. I am. Home is always warm." A year later, friends said she rushed into a marriage and then divorced. She sent apologies through others. I didn't reply. He sent word he'd wait for me forever. I stayed silent. A friend sent his social account. Teasing. Too late. Only cherishing when it's gone. What a coward. I looked. The proposal day. 3 a.m. My greatest wish is to walk to the end with you. The day I hid. I'm the dumbest man alive. When I posted a photo. I'll wait a lifetime for forgiveness. The day I blocked him. I'm garbage. I don't deserve her. The police report. If booze could make me forget. I'd rather stay sober forever. A Lego collage. You said this relieves stress. I only miss you more. I'll admit I almost cried, not for him, but for the years I gave my all. I accept that he loved me once. And I accept that his heart was never only mine. Maybe over time I became the most important. But later it could have been Wang Han. Li Han. Someone else. When trust collapses, everything crumbles. No matter how hard you try. It's almost impossible to rebuild. In this tangled love, even when I wake at night with a wet pillow, I hold on to pride, because I'm young. Because I woke up in time. I'll meet other people. I'll keep moving forward. I just won't be walking with Trin Triette or Jiang Han anymore.